Greetings, Star Trek Fleet Commanders. I am the Angry Rhino. Please like and subscribe to this channel. Now, what am I talking about today? We had a new in-month patch. Why they're doing this all of a sudden, I don't know. It's got to be some kind of analytical metrics or something. Adding things in the middle of the month maybe is more acceptable to certain players than adding it, at arcfall. Like, say, this Prime. Prime Station Delay. For $100, you can delay your opponent's weapons from their defensive platforms and ships by one round. For $200, you can do it for 2 rounds. What the hell kind of bullshit is this? What was you thinking? That's right. This is another episode of What Was You Thinking? I was slightly debating to do this a What Was You Thinking video or not. But, because I know what they were thinking. I know exactly what they were thinking. All the whales were so pissed off that they couldn't get into some of our bases because we crew very well. And that's really what it boils down to. We crew well, so some of these 60 players couldn't get into our bases. Some of them. This Ocean's defense and this... I forgot the name of the other one. Whatever you want to call it. Bold defense. It's not a sure thing. It is not a sure thing. All it really does is give you a fighting chance. If you can't get through it, that's your problem. Some of you out there can get through it. I've seen it. Ultimate DJs has seen it. I've seen it. My other half has seen it. It can be beaten. It can be beaten without bullshit like this. So that is why I ultimately decided to give this one a 2 thumbs down and a 2 middle fingers up. I'm not going to be too mad or passionate or animated this time because you know exactly what it is. We know exactly what they were thinking. We want to make the whales happy, so the whales will give us more money. That's it. The problem is they should have gone about it differently. You release a Prime like this, and all you're saying to, let's say, players 46 and below is, screw you, you little bitches. We don't care about you. We don't even want you in this game. We really don't care if you're in this game. Buy shit ton more packs or get the hell out. Well, you know what? I think some of these players are going to start taking that hint and they're just going to leave. Because it's obvious that all you want to do is... No, I won't. I'm not going to go that far. I was going to say something else, and I'm like, no, I don't think I should really say that. It's one thing to call somebody an asshole. It's something else to say that. But it is obvious. They want whales to spend money. Makes sense. But you've got to stop screwing over the little guy in the process. Rev Deuce mentioned something like this the other day in one of his videos. Whales like to eat shit tons of little fish. Shit tons upon shit tons upon shit tons of fish. It's no different in this game. If you're a whale and you spend a shit ton of money on a big ass ship, you want to use it. Right? And to a certain extent, you don't care if it's another 60 or if it's a 45. But the more and more you essentially tell those 46, 45 level players and below that we don't care about you, the more they will not be around. And what that will mean is less of the teeny tiny fish for you to eat. So you start picking on some of the people bigger. Well, you know what? They're going to get the same mindset and they're just going to leave. And then all there is a bunch of whales. So, while I understand what they were thinking here, what are we thinking when we accept things like this in a game? Because what it does is it drives so many people out of the game. Do we want to drive more people out of the game? Not really. Not really. And for what? All we were doing was trying to give ourselves a fighter's chance. It didn't make these level 60 players invincible. You know what I mean? It didn't make us invincible to these level 60 ships coming and smacking our bases. It didn't. Even me as a mid to low 50s player, I wasn't invincible. Ultimate DJs, he wasn't invincible either. I haven't done live streams, or Incursion, I haven't done live streams at all. It's something I do need to get off my ass and really get all the equipment to do. But DJ, if you've seen his live streams or an Incursion, yes, he has gotten scooped, even when he has a bold defense on. All it really does is allow you, and we're talking about the lower people, allow you to play with a level 64 a while before they really flex that level 60 muscle, and you got to shield up or you're going to lose everything. So it isn't an invincibility shield. This isn't Doom, and we're not pressing IDKFA for God mode. But to a certain extent, that is kind of what this is for whales. I mean, maybe. We don't really know because station battle logs. What's the status on the station battle logs? Well, the last I have checked, they were still broken. Now I have heard again for the second time that station battle logs are fixed. What were you thinking, Mr. or Mrs.? Hey, I'm going in here to fix the battle logs for stations. Oh, hey, I have it fixed. At this point, you need to show us that you fixed it first. Damn douchebags. What were you thinking? Oh, we fixed it. No, you didn't. Oh, well, we fixed it again. Oh, well, you got to prove it to us. Really should, of course. That probably is a little more on us content creators. I'll figure it out. I feel like I'm busy as shit right now for whatever reason. Even though I'm really not. I just kind of feel like I am. Yeah, I mean, this Prime pisses me off. And I mentioned Ultimate DJs. I listened to that podcast thing the other night, and I'm so glad he got animated and pissed off at Bubba Joe, because Bubba Joe was taking the other side of the argument. I mean, this is just ridiculous. I mean, 2 rounds. What the hell? I mean, you really thought that this was okay? Look, I mean, you made ROM, but there was an officer to counter ROM, and even to a certain extent, there was a counter if you're using ROM to counter Crass a bit. And that was ROM, common Beverly Crusher, and common McCoy. Because they will increase the effectiveness of Captain's ability. Now, it's just a small percent, but it will counter it. It will counter Crass. But it really only works if, somebody is offline and you're trying to crack them, because you gotta get that Crass ship and you gotta blow it up. I'm talking about officers. So now, to a certain extent, what was I thinking, and what are we all thinking in Ultimate DJs, and yelling and cussing people out because of this, what we say is a bullshit Prime, when station battle logs are broken and we have no idea actually how this is actually going to affect us. We don't know that. I haven't tested this out yet. I haven't found a level 60 whale or whoever can actually buy this, and seeing if this really does anything to our defense. Sure as hell looks like it will. 2 rounds is a lot. And while I am on that topic of talking about officers and possible ways to counter, I don't have my full defense on here because you see I'm out here mining isogen well with the increase amount that I need to refine every day. Can't exactly stop that, but these are all those battleships. You know, here's Strike Team Una, and then here's Strike Team Ortegas, and then here is Crash Crew. Okay, so here are my 2 survey ships. I will show you those crews in a minute. They're going to be slightly different. And then here would be my smaller battleship. Yes, it's not a battleship. I wanted lots of crew slots under deck to show you some officers. And really what this is, this was the Harrison dock. Well, Harrison's not going to be useful because your shots are delayed for 1, maybe 2 rounds. So Harrison's not exactly going to do anything for you. So let's talk about this. And this is why I mentioned, you know, the possibility that I get a what was you thinking and everybody that hates that prime, because a lot of the damage we can potentially do in base defense comes from this guy, right? Pike Moreau Tau. I mean, that's what, is it 11 or is it 12%? I don't know. My math is terrible. With Pike Moreau Tau, it is 11 or 10% a round that is coming off of your opponent's hull. So I don't know how much that new prime is going to affect me because I do have 8 docks. Look, if I had 4 docks, and then that's something else. I have 8 docks, so it may not affect me as much. Now, this is a fortunate, yes, but this is a tier 4 fortunate. You want this on your bigger survey ship. Let's come to the smaller fortunate. And what this has done is it has freed up bones. Now, not 100% sure that bones will boost Giorgio and Lorca, but bones boost Kirk and Spock, so why would he not boost Giorgio and Lorca? Giorgio, obviously, for burning. You got Tal over there. Lorca for hull breach. Obviously, when your guns do come back up, you want them to hit hard, and you want them to hit hard as shit, because you got to make up for lost time. So the Harrison dock. See how I mentioned Beverly and these are the common versions, Beverly and McCoy. At max, and at max tier, during combat, Next Gen Crusher increases the effectiveness of the captain maneuver by 12%. Bones, same thing, or Cadet Leonard McCoy. Now, what does Geordie do? Captain ability, Next Gen LaForge decreases the weapon damage of the opponent's ship by 15%. It's not a lot. I know it's not a lot. I understand that. I'm not trying to say it's a lot, and I'm not trying to say that this is the best replacement. For the most part, this is relatively new. I haven't had days and weeks and months to think about who should be here. This is just an initial thought, a possibility. Because with Harrison there, he's doing nothing. Well, these guys are doing something at least, right? And that's the thought process there. Now, at the same time, Uhura is the other one. Switch. Cadet Uhura decreases the weapon damage of the opponent's ship by 10%. That is her captain ability. They are carbon copies of each other, just, different names. So those are 4 options. But you will want to have either Uhura or LaForge as captain, and Bones and Crusher on the side. Now, other options. This isn't a great option either, but when fighting players, every time your ship is hit by a critical hit, Saru decreases the critical hit chance of your opponent's ship by 25%. Now, putting this on a small ship, so you get 1 shot. Hopefully, it's a critical hit. Now, if that weapon fires 3 times, the first 2 aren't a critical hit, but the last one is a critical hit, does Saru activate? I haven't got a clue. I haven't gotten that far yet. This doesn't seem like too bad of an option, considering when it pops, 25% crit chance reduction. Now, the 2 on the side, they're not really doing a whole lot. You can decrease their armor piercing. You're not getting a lot out of it. We don't care about shields. First of all, we're not firing for the first 2 rounds, so Strike Team Una is taking care of the shields. So we don't care about that. Every time the ship is hit by an opponent's weapon attack, Tilly has a 50% chance to decrease the opponent's officer's attack by 15%. Now, essentially, what that is trying to affect is the crew bonus here. If you drop your opponent's crew bonus down a threshold, then he should do less damage. Not great, and I'm not saying that it's the best option. Sela, I think, was potentially another option. When fighting other players, Sela decreases the enemy's critical hit chance by 6% every time the ship scores a hit. The problem is you got to keep firing. You have to shoot. So you're not doing it. You're not doing any of the shooting for the first 2 rounds. So you would like for an ability like that to be active, but got to figure out how to actually get it to activate first, right? It's tricky. It's tricky. I think there is maybe somebody in Crass's crew that could also do... No, I want group. Is it Vixis? Vixis does something. At the beginning of each round, Vixis has a 6% chance of delaying the opponent weapon fire by 1 round. That is an option. It is an option because you would still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You have 6 officers here in Crass's little group. The problem is 1, 2, 3. You have 3 command type officers, so you're not going to get full synergy with one of them. But potentially it is an option. That's right. It's damage against explorers, damage against battleships, and there should be damage against interceptors. Again, options, and again, this is early, so don't go biting my head off if this doesn't work yet. We haven't exactly done a lot of testing on this. All right, let's wrap this up. So, to summarize this What Was You Thinking video, the geniuses coming up with these primes did something to kind of screw everybody except whales over. Wow, what were you thinking? You were thinking that was actually going to go over well? It's not exactly going to go over well with your fan base. It will go, your player base, but it will go over probably with, your income. Probably going to get whales to buy the pack. Doesn't mean the rest of us are going to like it. We're going to hate it. So I hope that is what you were thinking. But there is potential that we can still do, stealing a phrase from Ultimate DJs, Crew Jitsu may still have a chance. And honestly, that is really all we've been asking for. We're asking for a chance. We understand that all the whales, they spend more money, so they get to be more powerful. but we do want a chance. Comment below. What are your thoughts on this prime? Do you think it's actually going to affect station combat? Can you think of any crews that can potentially replace the Harrison crew for base defense? And have you tested out station combat? Are the battle logs working? Because at this point, I haven't done that yet. One of these days, I'll get around to doing it. I guess I'm doing a habit of keeping my shield up. Be sure to like and subscribe. I am the Angry Rhino. Shields up, Commanders.